Hello everybody, this is Daniel Babas from Daily Soap Dish. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button down below. We cover a ton of 90 Day Fiancé. Alright, so let's get into it today. Today we're going to be talking about Colt, Jess Caroline, and Colt's mystery girlfriend, new girlfriend, if you haven't heard. So first, I just want to talk about Colt and Jess Caroline's relationship on Happily Ever After, because drama has been escalating with these two for a while now. And of course, Colt's mom's Debbie has been in the middle of things, even going as far as sabotaging Colt and Jess Caroline's relationship on this past weekend's episode. She actually planted the seeds of doubt in Jess Caroline's head. She did it voluntarily. She, of course, told Jess basically that Colt was still talking to Vanessa, and of course Jess and Colt, they had this conversation that Colt would no longer be talking to Vanessa. Of course Colt agreed to that request. He said, yes, I am not going to talk to her anymore. And of course Jess found out that Colt has been lying this whole time, and she was quick to pick up that Vanessa was basically a friends with benefits type of situation for Colt, and she exploded in a fit of rage at Colt and Debbie. She felt lied to, she felt betrayed. She was just really in a volatile mood after that whole thing unfolded, and honestly, I can't blame Jess. Of course, Colt agreed to it. He agreed that he was going to stop talking to Vanessa. And of course, Jess was right to doubt Colt's intentions with Vanessa, because we know that Colt has slept with Vanessa, and we know that Colt, he admitted he has a crush on Vanessa, and basically the only reason why he is not with Vanessa is not because he doesn't want to, it's because she doesn't really want to have a relationship with him, which I'm guessing that they had their one-time fling, and then Vanessa just, said whatever, that was it. So Jess was right to pick up on that. Kudos to her, and of course she was, justified to have a complete meltdown at the whole situation. Colt, of course, acting like he had no idea why Jess was behaving this way. She was behaving irrationally, and and he just didn't understand. And he even said that she must have skeletons in her closet to be behaving this erratically, which I didn't really understand that comment, because the way Jess behaved is totally rational, it's totally justified, and all of her fears were actually proven true, so I don't really know why Colt would even say something like that. Now, this relationship looks like, for all intents and purposes, is completely done. Now, I have to say that I didn't think this relationship was going to ever work out, because it just seemed like these two people, they were not really compatible, I have to say. When we first saw them together, they met in Chicago. Colt flew to Chicago to meet this new Brazilian girl. He didn't tell his mom, Debbie. Debbie wasn't too pleased about it, of course, because she likes to be involved in everything that Colt does, especially when it comes to girlfriends or women. So, he flew to Chicago, they met, they had drinks, they kind of had a bit of a, a little fun time. But when Colt and Jess, they went back to the hotel on that first night, Jess didn't really look too much into Colt. Now, afterwards, she kind of seemed to warm up to the idea of Colt, but of course we know that she wanted a green card. She wanted to extend her stay in the US, and of course she saw Colt as that opportunity. So is that the reason why she warmed up to Colt? Or is it maybe, she was a little apprehensive at first. We saw her kind of chugging down a few drinks when Colt told her, hey, let's go back to my hotel, let's have some fun. And Jess was like, let me chug down a few couple of drinks. Or is it perhaps maybe because Colt is really that good in the bedroom? When Colt stripped down into his Speedo, it didn't really look like he was packing a lot of firepower, but maybe he is. Look guys, I don't know, okay? I don't want to get into too much details, but who knows? This Colt guy, I have to say, based on the information that we're getting, this dude is a player, he's a ladies' man, and the ladies are flocking to this guy, and I just don't understand it. I don't think anybody does. There is no explanation for it. But basically, where we're at right now is that Colt and Jess, they are on the outs. They were never going to work out, and right now it seems like they are completely done. Colt has actually had another girlfriend since this relationship with Jess. So it's been reported by John Yates, who is Instagram 90 Day Fiancé vlogger and who is also connected to Colt, that Colt has had this Mexican girlfriend called Julissa. So Colt has met this girlfriend, Julissa. She's actually from Mexico, and the way that this whole thing unfolded is that Julissa was this personal trainer for Colt to help him lose all these pounds, and she was doing that over FaceTime. So Colt was taking these personal lessons over FaceTime. Julissa was giving these lessons for free. We are supposed to believe that. But one thing led to the other, and Colt flew from the US to meet Julissa in person in Mexico, and this happened supposedly in around February. So just a few months ago, Colt was in Mexico to meet Julissa, which was his girlfriend, after Jess, because of course we know that Happily Ever After, even though it's airing right now, it was actually filmed last year, at least most of it. Now, the segments are not all filmed at the same time, so it's hard to say exactly the day, but most of it was filmed in the fall last year, of course, because since then we've had the coronavirus and all that, so it's been a little trickier for TLC to film these shows. So Julissa is Colt's new girlfriend. Now here is the thing, guys. Colt has supposedly ended his relationship. Actually, he didn't end his relationship. The relationship has been dissolved. It seems like maybe perhaps from Julissa's part, because Colt has admitted to Julissa for cheating on her. So, wow, this is just insane. So basically, where we're at right now is that on the show, on Happily Ever After, Jess is upset with Colt because she's accusing him of cheating on her. So it seems like this relationship is going to end. So it remains to be seen if this Julissa girl is introduced on the show. I don't believe she will be, but we will see. And if Colt actually also cheats on Jess with Julissa, or if he moves on from Jess with Julissa, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe what happens is that this relationship is going to be a complete fail. This whole sabotaging by Debbie is going to lead to the ruin of this relationship that was never going to work out in the first place. And after that, Colt will meet this girl, Julissa, from Mexico, and they will try to talk, and they will become boyfriend and girlfriend. But after that, of course, Colt admits to Julissa that he has cheated on her. Now, we don't know who he has cheated on Julissa with, but that relationship also seems to be at an end. So this is a lot, guys. Look, like I said, this Colt guy, he seems to be a player. He seems to be a ladies' man. I don't know how he does it, but he seems to get the ladies. Look, this is where we're at with Colt right now. Colt also, of course, he's trying to get back on the show. So if this relationship with Jess isn't working out, which it's not, then he is going to need a new girl to come on the show. This Julissa, perhaps she was supposed to be that girl. According to John Yates, once again, Julissa did not want a green card. So she was not interested to come to the US and to become an American citizen. Now, that is not necessarily a requirement to be on the show. Of course, it could just be that Colt goes to Mexico, as in the other way of 90 Day Fiancé, and he goes to meet Julissa, and then they see if the relationship works out, and then maybe at some other point they can come back to the US. So it's possible that this segment was filmed, so it remains to be seen if we're gonna see Julissa and Colt on a future season of 90 Day Fiancé. Now, this relationship also is very interesting because Colt actually rushed into this relationship, and he actually asked Julissa's mom for Julissa's ring size so he could propose to her. So this Colt guy, he is just going into these relationships, very, very quickly. He is, wanting to marry a woman. He was even talking about kids, I believe, with Jess. And so he is just jumping into things very, very quickly. It seems like as long as the girl is from a different country, while Colt is ready to have kids and to marry and whatnot. So Colt is not one to wait around. He wants to jump into a relationship and get married and have kids very, very quickly. The other shocking thing about this is that supposedly Debbie actually okayed this relationship with Julissa. Debbie, of course, was not a fan of Jess. She was not a fan at all, to the point where she sabotaged the entire thing and had a big grin on her face. She was smiling like the Grinch when the Grinch stole Christmas. She was she was very happy. Let's just be honest. She hated Jess, and of course Jess was very rude to her. She told her to F off, you know, just a few weeks ago, which is really not cool. Let's be honest. If someone told me to F off and they were dating my son or my daughter, I probably would not be very happy, and I probably would not want them to be dating my son or my daughter. But so I can understand where Debbie is coming from, but of course Debbie she is really overbearing, and she really has a weird relationship with her son, and she really gets involved a little too much, considering that her son is 34 or 35 years old and really should be able to make his own decisions, his own mistakes. Mommy Debbie should not be really taking care of her 35 grown-up son. So this is where we're at right now. The relationship with Colt and Jess completely dissolved. This relationship is not working out. What is Jess going to do? We don't know, because of course we know she wants to remain in the US. She wants that green card. She wants to live in America. So we don't know how she's gonna do it. Will she perhaps come back on the show? Will she be another Larissa dos Santos, who was basically in a similar situation, but the only difference is of course that Larissa was actually married to Colt, and you know, they kind of split up. So Larissa is still in the US, but she was married to Colt, so she has a little more leniency, I guess, to remain in the US. Whereas Colt and Jess, well, they were just boyfriend and girlfriend for a short amount of time, which might be a problem for Jess remaining in the US. So we'll see if Jess is able to remain in the US. But Colt, of course, he is on to a new girl. He has already cheated on a new girl, so God knows where we're gonna see this guy, or who we're gonna see this guy with next. So that's it for today, guys. Look, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you guys on the next one.